We begin in North Africa, where the Egyptian Interior Minister survived an assassination attempt. At least 2 people died and 10 others were injured on Thursday when a convoy carrying Mohammed Ibrahim through Cairo's eastern Nasser city was the target of a bomb explosion. The Interior Minister was not hurt during the attack, and security officials told reporters that a remote-controlled bomb blew up as the minister's convoy drove by. Nasser city is a stronghold of the Muslim Brotherhood and is where ousted President Mohammed Morsi hails from. It was also the site of a sit-in protest by his supporters, which was stormed by police on August 14th, killing hundreds. Ibrahim appeared on state television hours after the attack to denounce the attack's perpetrators.
Alhamdulillah. طبعا هي محاولة خسيسة.
All I can do is thank God. It was a vile attempt. The forensics lab informed me that it was a large bomb that was set off from far, and they targeted the exact time that my convoy was passing through the street because all the explosion debris was directed at my car. They destroyed 4 of my security vehicles and many shops in the area. Civilian cars were also destroyed, a small child had his leg injured, a police officer is in critical condition, and there was another with a leg injury. There were many other injuries in my security team.
Well, the bombings fueled fears about the government's ability to stick to its roadmap to democracy. Interim President Adli Mansour has insisted the process is still on track. But analysts say Egypt's security worries are a major obstacle. CCTV's Yasser Hakim has more.
In spite of the multiple challenges facing the country, Adli Mansour has been trying to reassure Egyptians they're still on the right road.
We will continue with the roadmap. There are forces that want us to fail, but we will remain on our path regardless of the attempts, and I am confident that we will succeed.
But with the continued opposition from the Muslim Brotherhood, talk of jihad in the Sinai, and now Thursday's bomb attack on Mohammed Ibrahim, could the deadline be realistically achieved?
Security is a major concern. Basically, the Muslim Brotherhood will try to prevent any referendum or elections to go ahead through demonstrations of violence. There has to be national reconciliation, including the Brotherhood, so that the process continues smoothly.
The first stage of the roadmap is the formation of a new constitution. A 50-member committee was named this week to draft the constitution. It's due to be put to a referendum by early December, but already cracks are evident.
It will not be an all-inclusive constitution. Our demands have been ignored by the committee, though we represent a significant portion of the population. There are also divisions over the election law and other articles too.
The referendum will be followed by parliamentary and presidential elections by early next year. Observers expect more hurdles on the way. According to the timetable, the roadmap should be complete by mid-2014. But fearing that the government would fall behind schedule, there are suggestions awaiting approval to combine both the parliamentary and presidential elections in one process. Yasser Hakim for CCTV, Cairo.
Well, let's cross to CCTV's Yasser Hakim. He's in Cairo for more details on Egypt's worrying security situation. Yasser, we know Nasser city is a stronghold of the Muslim Brotherhood. So is the likely conclusion that the attack on the Interior Minister was planned by Brotherhood supporters?
The finger pointing has started already, and most of the political forces are saying that the Muslim Brotherhood is to blame. A statement came out from Khalid Hanafi, who is a spokesman for the Muslim Brotherhood, denying that the Muslim Brotherhood has anything to do with what happened on the assassination attempt. But it was clearly outlined by other forces that are saying that the Muslim Brotherhood, because of videos coming out before the ouster of Mohammed Morsi, of threats by the Muslim Brotherhood members and leaders that if he is ousted, there will be a series of bombings and what you can call suicidal attacks and assassinations of leaders in Egypt. All these threats that have been taking place before are now taken as some kind of excuse by political forces to blame the Muslim Brotherhood even before investigations take place or any results come out of the investigations.
Now, Yasser, there have been those threats, and it's worth noting that this is the first actual attack targeting such a high-ranking government official. How is it likely to affect efforts to bring a compromise between the Muslim Brotherhood and the government?
The presidency and also the Minister of Defense, they both issued statements after the assassination attempts where they said that they condemn what happened and they will bring the perpetrators to justice, but they did not mention the Muslim Brotherhood. And it seems they're still opening the door for reconciliation, maybe with the forces of the Muslim Brotherhood that are against any use of violence. But the political forces, the analysts are saying that this attempt could be the beginning of other attempts as well that will take place soon, just like what happened in the 1990s, which were also blamed on the Muslim Brotherhood. And they're saying that it will close the door for any kind of reconciliation between the government and the Muslim Brotherhood at this point, and are mainly attempts to just put back the Muslim Brotherhood onto ground, and will close any use or any chances for peace between both sides if this occurs again.
Yasser Hakim, will leave it there for the moment. Yasser Hakim live in Cairo. Now, meanwhile, the Egyptian government is intensifying its crackdown on the Muslim Brotherhood. The group said to be stripped of its NGO status, which could effectively dissolve the organization. But analysts say the Brotherhood has a long history of surviving suppression and has always come back stronger. CCTV's Adel Marouki has more.
2 months have transformed the political landscape in Egypt. The previously all-powerful Muslim Brotherhood has been forced to the sidelines, and its leadership and thousands of its followers arrested.
Critics are hoping this could effectively end the Brotherhood as a political force, while supporters can point to its track record for amassing and mobilizing popular support during long years when it was banned.
The Brotherhood is an idea, so it will never die. But will the organization remain? This will get clearer according to what happens next.
The Brotherhood was established in 1928 by Hassan al-Banna to spread Islamic teachings. It developed to become a social movement that increasingly influenced Egyptian politics and decision makers. President Gamal Abdel Nasser had the Brotherhood outlawed in the 1950s, but it resurfaced during the rule of Anwar al-Sadat, and it blossomed under Hosni Mubarak. Brotherhood candidates ran for parliament allying with liberal opposition parties. Their growing influence forced Mubarak to twice dissolve parliaments in the 1980s. And by 2005, despite the detention of its leaders, the Brotherhood won 20% of the seats in the parliament.
There was sort of a silent agreement between the Brotherhood and Mubarak. They did not criticize him while he never arrested their supreme guide. Politically, they were allowed to run for elections, but after they broke through in 2005 elections, the 2010 elections were forged to prevent them from entering.
When Mubarak was toppled, the Brotherhood had an established political structure, enabling it to take 51% of the votes in Egypt's first democratic elections. But within months of the Brotherhood taking power, their former allies turned on them. The crackdown of recent weeks is the worst it has suffered. Not even Mubarak arrested the Brotherhood's top spiritual leaders. Still, the Brotherhood with their supporters are a big part of the Egyptian society, and supporters say that can never be stamped out. Adel Mahroui, CCTV, Cairo.
Africa Live returns just after the short break with more, including: count us out, Kenyan legislators vote for withdrawal from the International Criminal Court. And in the interest of dialogue, the AU lifts sanctions imposed on the Madagascan president.
One year after the deadly Marikana shootings.
It's worse.
The worst in post-apartheid South Africa, labour unrest continues to plague Africa's biggest economy.
get nothing from that 16 up to now.
Our demands are reasonable.
This week, Talk Africa analyzes the origins of a potentially explosive problem that could push South Africa to the brink.
Welcome back to Africa Live. Now, the Kenyan Parliament has passed a motion seeking to cancel its membership of the International Criminal Court. A bill is expected to be introduced within the next 30 days. The House passed the motion after alleging that the ICC was a tool for targeting mainly Africa. The legislators held an emergency session which turned out to be a heated debate, causing some of the opposition MPs to walk out. The approval of the motion comes just days before the trial of Kenyan Deputy President William Ruto. Well, for more details on Kenya's ICC pullout initiative, let's now cross to Robert Nagila, who's standing by. Robert, serious debate in the Kenyan Parliament today. How did the debate progress?
Well, it was a well-choreographed debate. The result was already known even before the debate had started. However, it does appear that the ruling coalition failed in its bid to win support from the opposition. Halfway through the debate itself, we saw the opposition storm out of parliament, saying they would not be part of it, saying that it was ill-advised. However, this was largely symbolic because they were never going to win it anyway, because the ruling coalition had the numbers, about 2/3 of the majority in parliament itself. Now, the ICC was on the stand, in the dock, so to speak. We saw legislator after legislator stand up and accuse the ICC of being a political tool against African leaders and the continent itself. Some even going as far as to say that there was racial bias towards the continent and its leaders, and supporting the withdrawal of Kenya from the ICC itself. So a very interesting day indeed. However, it does not appear, according to some observers that I've spoken to this evening, it does not appear to be over yet. Tomorrow on Friday at about 3 p.m., Nigerian President Jonathan Goodluck, who is on an official visit here to Kenya, will be here behind me at the Parliament grounds for what we are told is an informal sitting, meeting the parliamentarians, Kenyan parliamentarians. Now, also in attendance will be President Uhuru Kenyatta, and some people actually suspect that the ICC question may crop up. Whether he will speak on it to the media, we're not sure as yet, but it will be an interesting day nonetheless. Beatrice?
Well, Robert, certainly repercussions from that bill that's expected to be introduced in the next 30 days. Do we know exactly how this issue moves on from here, Robert, now that Parliament has taken a firm position?
Right. Well, the motion has already been passed. So what's going to happen now is within the next 30 days, the reason they actually give this 30-day period is for the drafting of a bill seeking to withdraw Kenya from the ICC itself. Now, that will take about 30 days. We're going to see the technocrats behind us sit down to draft that bill. Now, immediately after that is done, then the bill will come back to the floor of the House, the floor of Parliament, where there will be a fast reading. If that sails through without any problems, if there are no mistakes on it, then that will go through a second reading and a third reading. And after that, it will then go before the president for assent. Now, this is where the president then signs the bill into law, which is kind of an irony, really, because the ruling coalition, that's the president's party, had actually sought to keep the two of them, that's the president and his deputy, who are before the ICC on charges against humanity, had sought to keep them away from this, saying that this is being pushed by Parliament itself as legislators. So the legislators are pushing this. However, it will have to go through the president to be assented before law, and it remains to be seen how the ICC will see it. Is it going to affect his case? We just don't know at this particular moment. However, we've already heard from the ICC spokesman, and he said that whatever happens here on the floor of the House here will not affect the cases of the president and his deputy because it's in the past. This particular motion goes towards the future. And there's a warning as well that if there's any attempt to subvert the cases at the ICC, then the ICC could take the option of issuing arrest warrants for the president and the deputy deputy. It's not gotten there yet, so they suggest examples that he was giving as to what may happen in case certain steps are taken that the International Criminal Court fails is an attempt to subvert the course of justice. Beatrice?
Well, as we've heard there, thanks very much from Robert Nagila, who's outside the Kenyan Parliament in Nairobi. Now, as we've heard, the Nigerian President, Goodluck Jonathan, has flown into Nairobi for a state visit. Jonathan will be in Kenya for 3 days, and trade is high on the agenda, but the two countries are seeking to repair relations too. This report from CCTV's Kofa Mrenje.
It's been just a few weeks since Uhuru Kenyatta was on a state visit to Nigeria. Now it's the Kenyan president's turn to play host. And there was plenty of pomp and ceremony to welcome the Nigerian leader. Uhuru Kenyatta and Goodluck Jonathan control the economic powerhouses in their regions. This being the first visit in 26 years by a sitting Nigerian president, this is seen as the perfect moment for the two countries to increase their cooperation, especially in areas such as trade and tourism. But there's also a trickier issue to address. Kenyatta has vowed to deport foreign drug traffickers, and many Nigerians are being caught in the net, and that's been causing friction. There's no doubting Kenya knows how to honor a visiting president, even if behind closed doors there may be some tough talking ahead. Kofa Mrenje, CCTV, Nairobi, Kenya.
The African Union has lifted sanctions against Madagascan President Andry Rajoelina and his supporters. The sanctions were imposed 3 years ago to encourage negotiations after Rajoelina seized power in a coup. According to AU officials, the sanctions, which included an asset freeze, were lifted because Madagascar was heading in the right direction and could potentially hold credible elections on the 25th of October. The vote's expected to end the country's long-running political crisis. Madagascar has been suspended from the AU since 2009. The AU insists the Indian Ocean island will only be reinstated after presidential elections. Ibrahim Boubacar Keita pledged on Wednesday to unite Mali and end endemic corruption. The president was sworn in to lead the deeply divided West African nation's emergence from months of political crisis and conflict. Mali's constitutional court confirmed Keita's landslide victory in the August 11 presidential runoff against former minister Soumaïla Cissé. Keita led the country out of its 17-month-long political crisis sparked by a military coup.
No one is or will be above the law. It will apply equally to all. I'll put an end to impunity, to the special privileges which are responsible for the perversion of judicial and state institutions. The restoration of the authority of the state will happen in tandem with the tireless fight against the corruption which holds back our ability to leave behind economic and social underdevelopment.
Time for another quick break. Still ahead. Raise your glass, a special Cape Town treat for hundreds of Chinese wine traders. Welcome back. Now, doctors declare that a pair of formerly conjoined twins were healthy and happy. This after they were successfully separated in a 13-hour operation in India. by a team of 40 specialists. The twins had a rare deformity where they were joined at their pelvis and hips. CCTV's Maria Galang has more.
Husseina and Hassana Badaru, 1-year-old girls from Nigeria sporting matching bright pink dresses, sit patiently on their parents' laps as doctors explained the separation last month during an 18-hour operation at a New Delhi hospital.
The twins were fused at their lower back area, okay, and besides their fusion at the lower back area, they had a fusion of their spinal cords and nerve roots, which are very important structures because they supply to the lower limbs, they supply to the urinary system, they supply to the gastrointestinal system. Also, they had a fusion of their genitalia, and so our major challenge was to separate all these three major organs involved.
Malama Badaria Badaru, the mother of the twins, can finally hold the girls in her arms individually.
We are really grateful to Indian doctors. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
The single surgery was carried out in 3 stages: preparation, separation, and then reconstruction of their shared organs, which include the lower spine, lower intestinal and urinary tracts, as well as genitals.
We expect, as they are growing children and they are growing normally, they will probably do a lot of self-correction by themselves. But maybe at later stage, they may require some correction surgery for deformity.
Only 15% of all conjoined twins are born with this type of condition, known medically as pygopagus. Medical literature lists just 32 such cases. The family from Kano State in northwestern Nigeria were told by doctors in their country that one of the girls may not survive if they went ahead with the surgery there. An unnamed philanthropist then stepped in to help and suggested they travel to India, which offered good facilities at relatively low medical costs. The family can head home to Nigeria after a series of month-long checkups. Maria Galang, CCTV.
To the winelands of South Africa now, and a special treat for some visitors. Hundreds of Chinese wine traders on tour in Cape Town, and they've been given a taste of some of the best that South Africa can offer. CCTV's Travis Andrews has more.
A festive atmosphere as over 700 Chinese wine traders descended upon Cape Town's convention centre for a taste of some of South Africa's finest wines. The wine traders were here for a week-long tour of the Cape Winelands, and their visit comes amid China's first investment in South Africa's wine industry. It's a way of getting the traders to better understand what they are selling in China.
Actually, this 700 distributor is our top performer from China. They are selling very well for the Le Huguenot brand, our red wine. They achieve the target, then we give an incentive for them to get them here, actually to learn the red wine industry, to learn how to taste the red wine and learn the background about the Huguenot. Hopefully, after the incentive trip, when they're going back to China, they'll become the ambassador for the South African red wine, especially the Le Huguenot red wine.
Sales of red wine in China are booming. South Africa hopes to capitalize on that trend, which has seen exports more than double in recent years. Perfect Wines of South Africa, the joint venture between local winery Leopard's Leap and its partner Perfect China, hope these visitors will take back a positive message about South African wines.
Our competition is France and Australia, and we have to promote South Africa with the Chinese consumer. And the only way to do it is to bring Chinese people to South Africa, give them the experience of South Africa, the South African culture, the South African wine quality, and then really make them ambassadors for South Africa and South African wine.
And it is these South African wines being consumed that are already finding favor within newfound markets. The wine traders that have gathered here laid lavish praises on South African wines, claiming they already noted an increase in demand by Chinese consumers. While the tone of the event was fun, there is a broader significance for increased cooperation between local winemakers and Chinese traders.
I'm sure this training here of the Chinese traders come to South Africa will not only benefit the business sector, but eventually it will benefit the relations between our two countries.
For now, plans are already underway to surpass this year's incentivized trip by inviting 2,000 of China's top-performing traders to these shores. Travis Andrews, CCTV, Cape Town.
The island nation of Madagascar is playing host to the African Kung Fu Championships this week. The Chinese martial arts has been growing in popularity across the continent. Madagascar's had a long relationship with China, one that's currently booming. CCTV's Celestine Coronet has more.
Early morning, and Madagascar's capital comes to life. But for one part of Antananarivo, the day starts just a little earlier. Quartier Chinois, as it is known in French, or Chinatown if you like, got its name decades ago because many Chinese lived here. Today, the locals call it Behoririka, which loosely translates to busy street, because for many Antananarivo residents, it is the place to shop.
Of course, yes. I shop because Chinatown is cheaper, and you can find all kind of things you want to use.
The first Chinese arrived in Madagascar in the 19th century, but the population has doubled in recent years. Among them is Chen Ting, who now considers herself a local. Chen has immersed herself in the community and says this is her home.
If I go back to China, I know I can do well business-wise, but I love it here, and so I must adapt.
Chinatown has developed into a thriving business center. Many of the stores employ local people. Chen has 10 staff. And this local trader tells us it is easy to do business here. Back in her shop, Chen says things are getting busy, so we should wrap up. It's clear the stores of Chinatown have another long day ahead. The face of two different communities brought together by one goal. Celestine Coronet, CCTV, in Antananarivo, Madagascar.
Now let's join Ramon Young for the latest from the business world.